And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us part of your Friday, where hopefully we'll see the Canucks lose. They're down 2-1 to the Finns.
It was 2-0. So Canada's mounting a comeback. Mounting a comeback.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah, we know who you're cheering for, Ben. It's fine.
I should probably rooting for Finland here.
It should be rooting against Canada always.
Not always. There are brothers to the north. Like in a war, I want Canada. Not with us, but like with most other countries, I want Canada.
We're talking about the Olympics, Ben. We're not talking about armed conflict.
Oh, okay.
But way to take it to the downer note as usual.
You said always. Always encompasses a lot, you know?
We're talking about the Olympics. And yes, there is. I can't think of a country in the Olympics that I would cheer for
less.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I feel you.
Go Finland.
Yeah, we'll see. Lowry Markkinen would be very happy as he watches ill from his bed.
Yeah, not feeling well, huh?
Apparently. Woke up this morning feeling queasy
nice
or
segue.
something.
That was good.
Yeah, Lowry added to the injury report today for the Utah Jazz. Questionable due to illness. We'll see. As you have said, Lowry's original illness, which struck him, a month ago or so, a little earlier?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Was
maybe.
quite legit.
Yeah, he was very sick.
And my understanding is it was actually pretty hard for him to get back on his feet. So some of the return to action stuff, as everyone is questioning injury reports up and down the NBA today and over the last several weeks, was apparently quite real. Lowry not feeling very good and having a hard time getting back on the court.
Well, they should just shut him down.
Long term?
Honestly, why even continue with the song and dance? What's the point? I'm sure he really wants to play, but sorry, pal, you're too good.
You're too sick. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you can't keep an illness going for several months.
Kristaps Porzingis missed like 2 straight seasons now with a mystery illness. They have identified it since, but yeah, he has something that is not easy to deal with apparently. So you hope Lowry doesn't have that, whatever that is.
Anyway, figure out a way for him not to play. Although I will say, all those things rhymed. I think the fining for tanking is over.
Well, we will see. Last night there was a very interesting thing that happened.
That's not really what I'm alluding to. I'm alluding to the news breaking about the anti-tanking rules coming.
And I think it's all linked together.
I think they've put notice that things are changing at the end of the year, and they will just ride out this year, I would guess, sans fines and say all is fair under the old system and we'll move forward. Now, we can discuss some of those meowing things that they're considering and whether or not they would be effective in the slightest. But as far as this year goes, unless they really do have something personal out for the Utah Jazz, I don't think the fining will continue.
I think it will. If I'm going to argue with you, I think there will be at least a couple more fines that we see before the end of the season. But yes, maybe not the $500,000 fine. Here are some of the things that have been outlined quickly, and we can get to some more points that I think are more topical. But these are ideas they're going to kick around. So yesterday, apparently, Adam Silver sat down with 30 GMs in the NBA, which makes what happened last night even funnier, in my opinion. But he sat down with all 30 GMs, and some of the ideas that they kicked around, they have not voted on any of these, instituted any of these. And there will be pushback from small market teams that do not want all of these things, because there are small market teams that believe their only chance to rebuild is through a draft. That first-round picks can only be protected in a trade, top 4 or top 14, which is the lottery, with the idea they're avoiding what the Jazz are going through right now, which is if a top 8 protected pick, if you trade a top 8 protected pick, the Jazz are going to do everything they can to stay under 8, and that's why we have seen what the Jazz have done for the last 3 years. Another idea is lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date, which is so ripe with holes that I don't think you could institute that. No longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. I think that actually has some legs. I think that's interesting. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals. Interesting. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams, and then you flatten the odds for all lottery teams. A lot of cats.
Oh, and I don't think any of them really work.
I don't think any of them solve it necessarily. Teams are always going to find loopholes because it's worth it. That's the problem. It's so worth it to tank.
Yeah, but the true cats in the wall are the ones that make the situation worse. And, like, you keep protected picks but only top 4. I think in a weird way that makes it worse.
How so?
Well, now I got to really be bad.
Well, the problem is you can't guarantee yourself a top 4 pick, right? Everyone of the worst teams has a 50% chance of top 4 or 5 or later.
Yeah, but now you're getting into when they flatten the lottery odds the first time. Now you're getting into that territory where you're thinking like, oh, the chances aren't that good, so why would teams do it?
Right.
Well, the chances are better.
Yeah, then you've incentivized being one of the 4 worst teams.
I could either kiss it goodbye or I could be as bad as possible to give myself the best chance at it.
Right.
So
I'm really going to fall apart.
So I'm really going to fall apart.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can say, well, why would you do that? The odds are not. You can say that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I was saying that for, I feel like, years. Like you're just going to plan your entire franchise's future around whatever % chance of getting the number 1 pick. You got to figure out other ways to do it because the chances of that aren't that good. Yet, everybody and their dog screamed at me, tank note, tank note, tank note. So now you're also incentivizing not making the playoffs, which does make things worse.
Correct.
So, I don't know.
This is funny because last night, in one of the funnier slaps in the face we've ever seen in the NBA, the Washington Wizards, in a game they were beating the Indiana Pacers, 2 tanking teams, were already without all of their good players. They were without Trae Young. You can argue if he's a good player or not, but he's better than anyone else they're playing. They're not playing Anthony Davis. They rested Alex Sarr last year. Well, they didn't play him or whatever illness he's dealing with, who was the 2nd overall pick 2 years ago and has turned into a fine player. They rested them. Then their starters included Trey Johnson, who some Jazz fans may remember. He was right in that. He was picked right behind Ace Bailey. Mm-hmm. And Keyshawn George, who's probably their best young player outside of Alex Sarr, who wasn't in the game anyways, and started and is their 2nd leading scorer on the season at 17 points a game. They go into the 4th quarter of a game against the Indiana Pacers, leading by 7, and they rest Keyshawn George and Trey Johnson, 2 of their better young players, throughout the entire 4th. Absolutely, obviously, in an effort to lose the game. Exactly what the Utah Jazz did with Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. Right after a $500,000 fine was levied to the Jazz, right after Adam Silver at All-Star Weekend said, we're going to be keeping an eye on it, and I know it when I see it, and then immediately following a meeting with the 30 GMs from Adam Silver where he said, we're getting rid of tanking, we're not going to see this anymore. That night, the Washington Wizards said, oh, watch this. We're going to do exactly what the Utah Jazz did. Not as high a caliber players, but that's the problem. The NBA didn't find the Jazz for specific rules on high caliber players. They find the Jazz on, quote, you know it when you see it. Well, everybody saw it last night. What is the NBA going to do? They have painted themselves in this corner where they have to find them or they're not going to, and they're going to get made fun of because we know it was arbitrary in the first place. And of course, they're not going to find the Washington Wizards for not playing those 2 players. Those are 2 anonymous guys in the big picture of the NBA. But that is still exactly what they were doing. They were trying to tank that game to lose to another tanking team, and they failed.
I could point to, I don't know, 4 to 5 booted games a night. Mm-hmm. And you're pointing to one specific one. Why did the news break yesterday? Why did that come out yesterday? This is why I think the fines are over. So they don't have to deal with that.
So they don't have to say this is the answer or this is the problem.
They say,
or our solution is finding teams.
They're saying we're fixing the problem in the offseason because it wouldn't be fair to fix the problem now.
Which is accurate.
So we are doing something, Ben. It's not finding. We're done with the finding. The finding didn't work. Laughably.
Yeah.
And by the way, why wasn't he finding all these other examples in the first place? You're still thirsting for some sort of equal playing field justice that just doesn't exist.
Never was going to exist.
Never.
Yeah.
We all, and I mean every radio bozo, every fan, we all knew what a train wreck the end of the season was going to be because, little secret, it's that way every year.
It is.
every single year. So, of course, every night you're going to be able to point to a Wizards or a Pacers or a Jazz or a Grizzlies or whatever who are going to extreme measures to boot basketball games. Mm-hmm. And now they've taken themselves off the hook where they don't have to find anybody anymore and become the joke that you are talking about because they can just point to
changes are coming.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're fixing it.
Yeah.
We're doing something about it. Hey, DraftKings, get out of my backside.
Yeah,
we are going to do something about it in the offseason, but I can't do anything about it right now. That was what other news leaked from the GM meetings? Do you think that was the only thing on the docket?
No, of course not. They talked about several things, I'm sure.
They have this meeting every year.
Yeah.
How many people actually knew that?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah, nothing else came
Because
out.
why? How much news leaks out of this meeting every year? The answer is none.
None, yeah.
And now we're going, oh, they have a GM meeting?
Uh-huh.
Because news leaked out of it. Why did news leak out of it? This is why. So they don't have to find the Wizards, and they don't look like hypocrites because they are doing something about it, Ben. Even though, and this was part of my point for bringing up all that joke cat nonsense that they're talking about, none of it fixes it. None of it fixes it. None of it's all PR. It's all a duck. Adam Silver is way, way, way too interested in the For You section of his Twitter feed. He's way too into it. It's amazing how online this is really true in business, not just the NBA. But I mean, people that have these gross overreactions to a few wingnuts that may or may not be even real on Twitter. But this is a PR stunt. This is so he doesn't have to find teams. Unless he really has it out for the Jazz, I don't think they'll get fined. They'll just continue with the song and dance they've been doing for several years now. The NBA will look the other way because that's what they actually want to do. And they can just point to the news that broke yesterday that they're doing something about it.
I think you're right that bad press is worse than doing something. Does that make sense? They are more threatened by the bad press of it all than they are the actual action of the teams not playing their players.
If they keep finding teams, they keep ending up in the news.
They do. It becomes a big story, and it's not necessarily a story they want. So yes, I do. You believe you go back now 2 weeks when the Jazz got fined, or a week when the Jazz got fined, and it's very easy to point to, Adam Silver needed to have something to point to at his press conference, that they are addressing it. And then he comes out of his press conference with, look at this outline we have. We've got all these crazy potential ideas. Even during the break, I said maybe we'll take draft picks away. Now everybody for the next, it's 15 games because the last 10 games of the season, people are really going to start focusing on what the playoff matchups are going to be. So this narrative is going to be gone almost entirely outside of the 4, 5, 6 teams that are seriously tanking still at that point. And yes, they won't have to. They won't have to struggle with it. And 15 games is a month, so they're going to deal with a month more of this narrative. With you're right, the Band-Aid of we're going to fix it, and then they're not going to worry about it. And they will do some minor switches. They're going to do the top 4 protected, lottery protected thing. I have no doubt about that. How much they are actually willing to fix, I don't know.
In a way, Adam Silver and the NBA has created this mess for itself by talking about it and by finding teams. Because how they've gotten away with it, I don't know if that's how I want to put it, but why this hasn't been this big of issue is because they've just ignored it. They've pretended like it doesn't happen. It's been a song and dance. That's why they fined Dallas when Jason Kidd talked about it. Right. And the whole point was, don't talk about it. Stop talking about it. Because that's what's working against them now, is that we are talking about it, is that Salt Lake has become, or not just Salt Lake, but, the Jazz fans have become the hotbed of tanking.
Yeah.
It's because they're the ones who've gotten fined. And I've seen the power of this market and its willingness to express its opinion work in the past. Where was Bill Hancock coming on when the BCS was such a controversy? He was coming on in Utah because it was the center of the antitrust argument that was the BCS.
Right.
And it made a difference. Mark Shurtleff was on this radio station, who was the attorney general of Utah at the time.
Right.
Talking about, it changed sports at the time. So the fact that Jazz fans have a loud voice in all of this and is part of the conversation is not a shocking thing to me. But the only reason it's a controversy is because people are talking about it.
Yes, exactly
right.
And
he's brought that on the NBA himself by finding the Jazz and by finding these teams, ironically, in a way to pretend like he was doing something about it. Because the problem is that you have been letting justice not be served for decades. So you can't start choosing to do it now because all of a sudden you have to fine half the league every night.
Again,
which they can't do. So they're not going to.
It was the idiocy of the whole problem. From the very first day we really started talking about this, now 2 weeks ago, Bobby Marks singling out the Jazz was ridiculous for this reason. You were trying to find a scapegoat for a problem that is across the NBA, which is exactly going back to the Olympic Committee and everything, trying to find a single scapegoat to pin everything on, or not going to the playoffs in college football, or not having access to a championship game. You were trying to find a scapegoat in one specific situation, and it really mattered, and everyone got squeaky here in the state of Utah. So Bobby Marks talking about it in the first place was silly. And then the bad press of Adam Silver responding to it probably did make the problem worse and set a standard that we knew was not going to be enforceable. And now it's not going to be enforceable the rest of the year, which is why, again, this whole thing was so ridiculous and why I think there was some legitimately justifiable non-performative outrage in the state of Utah because we knew this is where this was headed. Everybody knew this was going to be the problem because, again, you know it when you see it. It's such a low bar because we all see it every night in the NBA.
Yes, and they were picking on the Jazz, and that is all true. It was using them to be an example or however silly. No, it gets back to weak leadership, honestly. If David Stern were still in charge, it would have been different. Because what are the two stories that have leaked out, one courtesy of our own Tony Jones, Adam Silver's motivations here, is that Sam Presti's complaining because he wants the Jazz pick, so he's going to complain to Silver about it, and that the gambling companies are complaining, right? How would David Stern have handled this situation? He would have said, Sam, shut up.
Yeah, right.
Shut up, lose my number. And he would have told the gambling companies, you know what? You're lucky to be here. Shut up.
Yeah.
Lose my number. But Adam Silver said, oh, sure, Sam. I'll do something about it. I'd be happy to. I'm going to find the Jazz immediately.
Yeah. You're right. He went to the For You page, which includes Sam Presti's anger.
No, are you a leader or not? I mean, Roger Goodell would have said, shut up. Lose my number. But weak leadership. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a real bad sign. If the gambling company having sway with the NBA commissioner, if that is true, which I don't doubt it, by the way, but if that's true, then that's as good a reason for a guy to go. Like, absolutely. He's got to go. If you're in the pocket of gambling, because we're already playing fast and loose with the line here.
Correct.
If you are in the pocket of big gambling, you have got to go.
Yeah.
There has to be a hard line in between that. There has to be. So, I don't know. He's brought a lot of this on himself, though.
No question about it. By poor leadership, by weak leadership, and you're exactly right. By being inconsistent, and by he has let the fox into the hen house with the gambling, and he doesn't know how to get it out.
No,
obviously, and he made everybody rich. The reason why people have rejected this, probably in the first place, outside of the fear of the games becoming fixed, which has already started to happen with Chauncey and Jonte and Terry Rozier and all these different people who are involved in, at the very least, trying to get personal unders or potentially fixing games altogether. The fear beyond this is that, you become beholden to this more powerful entity or this enormously powerful entity that nobody wanted to get in bed with. At least the smart people recognized, it's a lot of money, but you're selling your soul, essentially. And it seems like Adam Silver was willing to sell the league's soul.
So it's hilarious to me because they've really created all of this. But I assure you, to bring it back full circle, no, I can't. I say assure. I have no idea. But I think the finding is over.
Be interesting to watch.
And I think the news yesterday is the reason, because now they can point at something and say, we are doing something about it. And it's fair and just because we're not going to do it this year. But guess what? The problem's going to be solved in the offseason when none of the garbage that they put out yesterday. You know what it reminds me of, honestly? It reminds me of the bubble. Where, do you remember when they released, Monson wrote a whole column about it, when they released all of the rules about the bubble? Mm-hmm. And some of them were just ludicrous.
Nonsensical, yeah.
Like, one of them was you could not play doubles ping pong. Singles ping pong, fine.
Right.
Doubles ping pong, however.
You couldn't reuse a ball after a point. There were all sorts of rules.
Just silliness. And Gordon said, well, why would they do it if it wasn't for a reason? And I said, to get you to write about it.
Yeah. Or to get you to think it's okay.
Yeah, to look how seriously that we are taking this, to get you out of the way, to get you to stop complaining. This is how serious we're taking it. No doubles ping pong at any time.
Draw the line.
At any time. Now, beer pong's fine. I mean, let's not get crazy here. But doubles ping pong?
I mean,
absolutely not.
These guys were playing basketball against each other that same day, breathing and sweating and bleeding on each other. But doubles ping pong.
It's out. No, so they can point at this stupid stuff. And they're going, hey, we're getting rid of top 8 protected picks, so look out.
Yeah.
We're taking this super serial. Super serial, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jacob Mann, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Mann, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G and friends coming up today at Kenny J's Barbecue from noon to 3. It's the 60 in 60 ranking show at Kenny J's Barbecue, located 11610 District Drive in South Jordan. Go get some delicious food and help with the 60 and 60.
Absolutely.
Sounds like I can't believe that we're starting to crunch through 60 and 60. It just goes to show. Oh, it's the re-rank today. I was going to say it goes to show how college football truly has become a year-round sport, which is...
It is true.
Which definitely is true. Although it does feel like we are in the quietest of times.
Yeah. For college football?
Yeah, I mean spring ball, just wait until the rash of transfers after spring ball, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though there's only one window, how did that ever work, and how is that going to work this year? And will we actually see spring practices because coaches will trust that their players won't transfer?
No, we will never see spring ball again.
Remember, Bronco wouldn't even let anybody in the building at Utah State. I think Scotty wanted to go, and they were like, sorry, voice of the Aggies.
You the lunatic? Yeah.
Sorry, Scotty G, but you could let something slip.
Yep. A player caught a pass at a Utah spring game, and he transferred immediately, and that was the end of it. Last time you got to watch a Kyle Whittingham practice.
But, I mean, I don't know how much I guess the big discussion, how much are the regulations they're even trying to put in, having a transfer portal, how much does that even matter? Because could you just transfer and sue and play right? I mean.
Yeah. You can just withdraw from school. You're not even in the transfer portal at that point. You're just not in school anymore, right? That's the workaround we've seen for a lot of players.
Do they handcuff you to the radiator in the math building?
Only if you're a quarterback in the Big Ten. Only if you play at Washington.
No, if you're a quarterback in the Big Ten, you get to smoke out the locker room.
Yeah.
Did you see that video?
Which one?
The Michigan. They were smoking out. They were smoking out the locker room.
Okay, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, but if you're the star quarterback, you get to do that sort of thing.
Absolutely. But you can't transfer.
I'd laugh if the smoke alarm went off and it's like, don't worry about it. All right. It's time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com. Brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the very finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right. What is number 1 today, Christian?
Number 1, the Jazz back in action after the All-Star break, and that injury report is lengthy.
The Utah Jazz here, I will just read it for you. Larry Markkinen has been downgraded to questionable with an illness after not being on the injury report last night. Keontae George is still out with his right ankle sprain. Jaren Jackson obviously out for the year. Walker Kessler out for the year. Yusuf Nurkic out for nose injury management. Something happened over the break. And Oscar Tshiebwe is questionable with
Did you
concussion.
say nose injury management? He's got a nose injury?
Nose, semicolon, injury management. Must have taken an elbow to the face.
Okay. Yeah, that's very specific. I like it.
As we said, I don't know how much Nurk we're going to see the rest of the year, especially in games of this ilk.
Well, yeah, he's got a sprained nose.
Yeah, his nose. He's got ingrown nose hair, which is a real doozy.
He's having some serious nose
those are
issues.
the worst.
I had a friend who seriously broke his nose, and it has absolutely impacted his life from then on.
Oh, nose pain is the worst. Yeah, deviated septum
still absolutely impacts his life. Poor guy.
No question about it.
So prayers up for Nurk's nose.
Nurk nose. He's got a bad case of Nurk nose.
I don't know if he could recover.
let me see if I can NBA injury reports. Let me see if I can pull up what the Memphis Grizzlies injury report is so far as well.
15 healthy noses.
The Grizzlies have Santi Aldama is out. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is out for the season. I think he's getting his pinky finger rearranged. I'm not kidding. I think that's what they said, realignment. Brandon Clark is out. Walt Clayton Jr., doubtful, unfortunately. Right calf contusion. Cedric Howard, their good young player, their rookie top 10 pick, out with a right knee hyperextension. Zach Edey out. Stress reactions at his foot. He just might not play very long. Too big. Ty Jerome out. Injury management. John Morant out. UCL sprain. And Scottie Pippen Jr. out with left great toe. Injury management.
How many players do you have to have? 7?
You have to have at least 8 dressed.
8?
Yeah.
Are they going to make it?
The Grizz? Going to be close. It's going to be very tight.
That's 9 players on the injury report right now.
Mm-hmm. Solved. Problem solved.
Ben, you got a Grizzlies jersey?
I can probably go get one. Go to the thrift store and see if they have, old Zach Randolph jersey floating around or something I can throw on. Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson's available. He's in uniform.
Slow-mo is ready to go. The slow-mo revenge game.
We'll see Taylor Hendricks play tonight. We'll see him trying to take it out on his old team. And then on the flip side, Jazz will probably play John Conchar and Vince Williams Jr. So Jazz are still going to have a good chance to win this game. The Grizzlies are terrible, and they're resting everybody as well. But early game, 5 o'clock. It's not always the case on Fridays or in Memphis, so getting a little bit of a extra time tonight.
Underrated, hilarious bit in a movie is when Jim Carrey has the nose whistle in Me, Myself, and Irene, and he's running to catch the train, and you just hear the whistle.
Whistling.
I think Nurk has a little bit of the nose whistle going.
Probably, yeah.
Rough.
It's not great.
What's next?
Number 2, Team USA Hockey. The women take gold yesterday against Canada. Men taking on Slovakia later today.
Can I ask you this? Do you think a hockey player, man or woman, has ever missed a game due to a nose issue?
I bet a puck to the face will, change your availability pretty quickly. But for this type of nose issue,
there's no way. I mean, even if they were missing the game because of a nose issue, there's no way they're putting that on the report. I mean,
no. Well, they don't. They
it would be upper body. No. But I mean, call it like an orbital bone or something.
Yeah,
right. You can't put nose.
I agree.
You can't put nose injury on the report.
Yeah, you're not going to put nose, questionable.
Yeah, like you're out with the nose.
Also, someone's going to come punch you. Now, the problem is Yusuf Nurkic does get punched a lot as well. He is the most punchable player in the NBA, apparently. Not because I feel that way, but because he's been in a lot of fights before where guys seem to want to punch him.
When is the next home game?
I think they have 2 games on the road this weekend?
If you are not in front of Nurk at the first home game and ask the question, how's your nose? I'm going to be pretty bent.
Oh, we're not going to see Nurk. I mean, honestly, we're not going to see Nurk again. Especially in games against New Orleans. At home, Jazz need to lose both of those games because New Orleans has a chance to leap the Jazz. So if the Jazz can lose next Thursday, it's funny, the Jazz come back from this break and they basically stay on the break. They play tonight, then they don't play again until Monday, then they don't play again until Thursday. Jazz have all this time off right now, and then they're going to have a more condensed schedule to close the season.
Nurk's nose needs
a week.
Needs the rest.
So we'll see what Nurk nose can do.
I'm sorry, we're talking about hockey.
Talk hockey?
No.
Awesome game. In all honesty, Canada didn't dominate, but scored the shorthanded goal to open the second period, and really looked to be in control the rest of the game. 2 minutes left, or 2.5 minutes left. The U.S. team pulls the goalie and then scores pretty quickly, about 30 seconds after they pulled the goalie. Send it to OT, and it was long. It was kind of a longer OT, 3-on-3 still, but Keller was able to put it in the back of the net. So very cool game, and an all-time great. And what was, I thought, the best day of the Olympics for the Americans so far yesterday, including Alyssa Liu winning the gold in figure skating.
Oh, you were clowning figure skating like the other day.
I realized part of it is because, it's still not great. But she was awesome. She skates. She's very fun to watch skate. Also, because the Americans are always terrible in it. They showed her she's one of 8 women to ever win a medal or a gold in 70 years. It's like, no wonder I don't like it. It's been 20 years since we've had an American to root for.
Who was the last one?
Hughes. Am I right? Was that the woman who won here in Salt Lake City?
Carla?
To look at the gold medal.
Carla Hughes? Well, what's her name? Yamaguchi was pretty good. I was in the
She was
90s.
good. Yeah, she was really good. 92.
And Nancy, of course, who I believe won silver. Does that sound right? We're putting way too much time into this.
So, yeah, anyways, Alyssa Liu was very fun. I thought it was fun to finally get an American to root for.
Sarah Hughes, does that sound right? Anyway, what's next, Christian?
Number 3, earlier you guys brought up some of these
Sarah Hughes, you're exactly right. Good job. Here in Salt Lake City.
anti-tanking measures. Are any of these going to work?
No.
The men, by the way, play in the Olympics coming up here in a little bit. Canada still down 12 minutes to go, 2-1. Dominating shots on goal, 26-12, but can't get it across the net. That's why these Olympic games are so crazy. No, the anti-tanking.
None of these would work. I mean, none of them would prevent taking entirely. I mean, you could pick some of your favorites, but I honestly don't even think they put that much thought into this whole thing. I think they just released a list of stuff to point out, like, hey.
I saw this. I saw someone suggest this. Maybe this is an idea. What if we try this? Yeah, what it's going to do is it's just going to change how teams tank. It's not going to change tanking. It's not going to change the fact that it's going to exist. It's just going to change how teams do it. And so you just got to figure out how you're going to do it to best benefit the system.
Do you have a least favorite?
I think flattening the lottery odds entirely does encourage a lot of teams to miss the playoffs because you're saying, oh, man, we got a 6% chance to win the lottery now? Like, that's what you get when you're, like, in 9th place.
Every team from the 3rd seed down would
Should
be
tank.
trying to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, right. If you don't have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs, or, like, you're the Utah Jazz in 2021 who just lose to the Los Angeles Clippers in the second round with the best record in the NBA, you realize, like, oh, man, maybe next year we should just tank, and because we're not going to get better with
our current
team with the salary all locked up. But if we could somehow get a 6% chance, or, 100 divided by 14 is about 6 or 7%. If we have a 7% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick and then adding that to Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, then we're cooking. Then we really got something going. Like, that team's going to be encouraged to tank.
My least favorite one was that you cannot get a top 3 pick after
making the conference
final, because that is so just a one-off exemption. It's the Pacers this year.
Yep.
Kind of the Warriors a few years ago when they got.
I don't remember what the Raptors did after Kawhi left.
Drafted Wiseman. No, they were pretty good after Kawhi left. I think they made the playoffs.
They still had some good players.
The next year. That it's like such a one-off example. Like, what is that accomplishing?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm totally with you. Yeah, it doesn't change anything. If you want, again, I have said maybe the top 30 or all 30 teams have equal opportunity to win the lottery. And if you wanted to say yes, but the teams that made the conference finals the year before can't win the lottery, they don't have the ability to move into the top 2 draft picks. Okay, that way, this year's Thunder don't end up drafting whoever, Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonza. Okay, maybe that's it. So the other 26 teams are actually the ones competing and everyone gets a 4% chance. Maybe that's more interesting, but they didn't even put that on the list. That's not out there.
Nope.
So we'll see what they actually do. But you're going to have to really significantly flatten tanking altogether if you want to actually change it and stop teams from tanking, and they're not going to.
I still think just get rid of the draft. Keep the cap, get rid of the draft. The rule now is you can't sign a free agent if you're over the cap. So if Cooper Flagg came out and the Lakers were over the cap, well,
can't get him.
Too bad. And by the way, the whole shoe company thing people were throwing out, that's dumb. Because if the shoe company's player isn't playing, then the shoe company isn't marketing that shoe. And that applies to maybe 2 or 3 players, and pretty much no rookie ever has gotten their own shoe outside of Donovan Mitchell, and it was because he was with Adidas.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, they needed him.
They needed him. So I don't buy that shoe company crap. That's around the edges, and by the way, still exists now. So I don't know how getting rid of the draft would have that. I've seen that narrative everywhere. In fact, I saw an agent yesterday on the Snap Talk say, yeah, that's not a thing. So
small owners are never going to let it happen. I did hear an interesting idea of flatten the lottery odds completely, but also have the top overall pick be so exorbitantly expensive that if you win it, you have to trade all your good players to keep him. So like if you were the Thunder this year and you get the number 1 overall pick, but it costs $30 million a year, you can't afford to keep him.
Yeah.
You're going to be so far over the luxury tax at that point that you have to trade Chet Holmgren or you have to trade Jalen Williams to make room for him on your roster, or you have to trade the pick.
But you are assuming that the number one pick is any good and that somebody would
Exactly
want it.
right.
Somebody
the problem is
has
when
to-
you draft Zachary Rieseshay and he
Right.
costs $35 million a year, and you're like, I don't want Zachary Rieseshay.
Right.
And now we're submarine because our salary cap is in hell for the next 5 years
and
with
you
this
forced
bum.
me to make a pick.
You
yeah.
forced me to draft this guy?
and pay him that. Yeah, I
Correct.
know.
Exactly right. That's the problem with all of these tanking rules, which is the first time you mention it, it sounds like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you do literally any bit of work to pull the thread on the sweater, and it just unravels so quickly. And that's the problem with basically every one of these issues, which is how I think where we got to where we are with tanking right now, which is, what if this is the best system? What if this is actually the best way to do it? And you're just going to find more ways to, A, put cats in the walls, and B, make it harder for other teams to compete. And we might run into that.
No, I think they're doing this to get out of the headlines, and then they will do as little as possible.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You've already seen Mark Cuban come out and start the PR campaign for tanking is good.
Tanking's good, actually. Yep. Because it sells hope, and hope is what teams want.
It's a PR thing. This is all a PR thing.
Canada just tied it up.
But yet we're also worried about justice because we're, good people, that we have to nitpick everything and say, see, they did. And it's not about that at all.
Yep.
At all. Adam Silver, you'd have to – he doesn't care about tanking. He doesn't care at all.
He cares right now about winning the press cycle, the news cycle.
He should go back into his closet with the no sunlight and just stay there. If he wants to solve this problem,
Go
he
back
should
in the
just
casket, yeah.
yeah,
More
go back in the crypt.
Yeah.
Well, closets are dark,
Sure.
which is really all I was alluding to. Thank you for that, Ben. All right, stay tuned. We'll have more next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you about University of Utah Health. Hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. Also, Win Ticket Wednesday, your chance to win big every week on the station. Coming up next week, Ben, Stained. Tickets to go see Stained.
Okay.
You seem like a Stained guy.
Do I?
Break the Cycle 25th Anniversary Tour featuring Seether with special guests Huba Stank and Hinder.
Wow.
The Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on October 7th. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com or listen all day on Wednesday.
Stained, Seether, Hoobastank, and who was the fourth?
Hinder.
Hinder. Okay.
Like breaking the rules in racquetball. Hinder.
Hindering the rules.
Well, it's you
hindering my progress.
The hinder, the call is you're in the way of your opponent.
Yeah.
I think
You're hindering them.
I haven't played racquetball in a while. Christian, you strike me as a racquetball
Yeah,
guy.
you got racquetball energy.
It looks very dangerous.
Racquetball?
You got to wear goggles.
Yeah, you have to wear goggles,
Yeah,
man.
that thing whips you in the eye, and you're going to be in real trouble.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody describe racquetball as dangerous. Have you ever been hit with a racquetball?
That's why 40-year-old
No.
plus
It
people
doesn't
play
hurt
it.
that bad.
And they have, I bet you the racquetball industry is absolutely reeling right now with pickleball.
I love pickleball.
It's the same level of danger. You're just as likely to blow out a knee. But you're not going to lose an eye because you get hit in the eye with a pickleball. So in that sense,
So it's not the same.
Well, you're
Not
not
quite
going
the
to
same.
lose an eye getting hit with a racquetball either. We used to play a game where I can't even remember, but the punishment was you had to go stand up by the wall and they got to.
serve it at your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts, but it's not like I didn't have to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I didn't fracture my humerus.
You guys played with actual racquetballs?
Yeah.
Not ping pong?
You play racquetball with ping pong balls?
No, sting
No.
pong.
Yeah, sting pong.
Oh,
or
sure, we've
bareback,
done that, but
ping
we did
pong,
it
or
with
whatever it's
racquetball
called.
too.
Okay. That sounds painful. But yeah, it's not going to kill you.
That wasn't
To your
bad.
point.
Well, don't make a mistake. Don't lose.
Yeah, don't lose. That should be the punishment for tanking. Racquetball, bareback racquetball.
I've said
Just
it.
don't lose.
I've said it. I think it should be the punishment for losing a challenge. The head coach.
Gets to throw the ball. Has to have the ball thrown at him.
Well, I said get kicked in the groin, but we could
Oh, okay.
we could
That's
figure
right.
out
Yours was pretty straightforward.
like the
I was thinking
other.
you put him at half court blindfolded.
No, the other team gets to pick their most heavy-footed player,
Okay.
and then we probably wouldn't have a lot of ridiculous challenges.
Well, you wouldn't have Nurk Nose sitting out because you would want Nurk on the court every time.
Oh,
because if
yeah.
there was a bad challenge, he's your designated groin kicker.
You want that boot?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that there.
The
yeah.
Bosnian boot.
Yeah.
Exactly. But who was it? It was several games before the All-Star break. So was some coach challenged a call in the last minute of the game when they were up like 15?
Yeah.
Who was that? You remember what I'm talking about?
I don't think it was the Thunder, but it could have been.
It was like win or lose.
Yeah.
That person should be punished severely.
Yeah, right. Who cares at this point? We're just trying to get out of here. Everyone's trying to wrap this game up. It's like dunking in the final seconds of a game that's already been decided.
Like
Why are you calling
those
a challenge?
classless Aggies. Scotty was trying to defend that.
I don't have a problem with dunking late in the game.
It's classless. It's not against the rules.
So am I. Yeah, I don't care.
It's
That's why
just
I don't,
classless.
Yeah, so am I. So is the entire state of Florida. Who cares? We let them vote.
But Coach Calhoun was trying to couch it as, well, this matters. When, margin of victory matters. It's like, they have 4 points?
Yeah.
I don't think it really does matter.
No, it doesn't.
So just own it.
Yeah. So we were happy to beat them. Glad to dunk.
Dunk right in their face.
Guy wanted to get out there and dunk, and glad he did.
That's what I do. That's what we do. We're classless.
That should be our identity. Mick Cronin's classless.
Sportsmanship is not a priority.
Mick Cronin doesn't hide it.
Not a priority at Utah State. Other things a priority at Utah State? Sportsmanship? Nope.
Doesn't need to be.
Not a thing.
Bronco would have a real problem with that.
Is Bronco a good sport? I have no idea.
I don't think he's a good loser. Like, not necessarily he's a sore loser, but I don't think he is all that gracious or warm after losing. But I suspect he's a good sport.
I don't know. He took a job at Utah State. I kind of doubt it.
Why? Because it's a classless university, is what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm saying the entire organization
Is that why Scotty works there?
Class. Yeah, 100%.
Why don't you work there?
Oh, I have tons of class.
I've been thrown out of classier places than this.
I've said that
Correct.
while getting thrown out of a place that wasn't all that classy, honestly.
Not at Utah State.
Not at Utah
No,
State.
you were not getting thrown out of the forum?
No, I was not. The Spectrum.
The Spectrum, excuse me. Mixing up my arenas. Yeah, you're not getting thrown out of the student union building.
No. But yeah, classless.
Yeah.
Dunking on Penny Hardaway of all. He was complimenting the fans, not the team.
Yeah, Penny was mad. Penny was frustrated.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G and friends today. Kenny J's Barbecue, noon to 3. It's the 60 and 60 ranking show at Kenny J's Barbecue, 11610 District Drive in South Jordan.
Finland is in the penalty box for a high sticking. There's a minute and 50 seconds left to go. Tied 2-2 with a chance to go to the gold medal game. So Finland on the penalty kill after giving up back-to-back goals over the last two periods. So getting tense.
Need to get it together.
Need to get it together. Get their head in the game.
Although NBC is certainly rooting for Canada.
Yeah, probably. Get USA and Canada out there. What's the population of Finland, you think? Probably not very big.
38 people.
38 people. Two of them have played basketball in the state of Utah.
Well, half of them make the hockey team.
5.6 million. Small. It's crazy.
Yeah, it gets down to the fundamental unfairness of the Olympics, really. But yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, we were talking to Lloyd about how many Portuguese athletes there were in the Winter Olympics this year.
And we looked it up, and I think it was, they hadn't won any medals. I didn't look up how many people were actually on the team.
But on the flip side, Norway wins every medal, and they have 5.6 million people. It's almost exactly the same, and they win. I mean, they're the leader
It's
right
even
now,
smaller.
right? Yeah, it's even smaller. They lead every year. They're always.
Yeah, but isn't that...
they live in the snow?
No, but this is like Canada scored. That's too bad. But this is like the best distance runners in the world are from Kenya, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're talking about with Norway. Like they have one niche thing, and that's cross-country skiing, but they win
every single one.
Every single one. So I even refuse to acknowledge their dominance. They're just a one-trick pony. All you guys do, you cross-country ski to get around town. I'm sure you're good at it.
You'd be better than everybody else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course we are.
No, it is. I mean, we're kind of joking, but to salvage a serious point, I mean, there is a certain thing to cultures and what they focus on for athletics, for sports. And I've long made the argument, because people go, clown the U.S. in soccer. Can you imagine if we were a soccer-dominated culture? We would never lose.
Yeah.
If Michael Vick played soccer,
if all of our best athletes played soccer.
Yeah, and it was, in developing those skills and everything was a focal point of our American culture, we'd smoke everybody.
Yeah, but we don't care.
But it's like 9th on the list or whatever. Although youth soccer is so big, I always have bought into the fact that it is a sport with more potential, but it will never be the number one sport in our culture.
Well, and the hard part, again, is that if we do have good players, they get bought by European teams so young that they don't actually get to play here and then become the stars here to actually show off.
Well, so that's why Major League Soccer doesn't stand a chance in the same way that, basketball could get huge in Italy. The best players are never going to stay in Italy. They're going to, that's just a built-in thing. But I would say, like, the World Cup coming here is going to be extremely popular. I think soccer as a sport is more popular today than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, who is it? Aren't there 2 European clubs coming to L.A.? Is it this week or in the next couple of weeks? And they're going to sell out the Coliseum or wherever they're playing.
Yeah.
Major League Soccer, if you want to talk about that, they just have the built-in disadvantage of they're not going to get all the best players. It could be way more popular here. I mean, you could look at places like Atlanta, where Major League Soccer is just thriving. By the way, I'd throw Salt Lake into that. We are still never going to attract the best soccer player in the world in their prime to this league.
No. You're going to have to overpay them absurdly wildly, and then they're going to have to basically sacrifice caring about winning at the highest level.
Well, and they do that when they're 40, not when they're...
Yeah. Are you going to be able to get Mbappe in his prime?
No,
Probably not.
There's
Messi
a reason all these guys are coming over when they're 40. Heck yeah, they're going to get a huge payday. Doesn't Messi have like a piece of the league or like a piece of the TV deal or whatever it is?
Yeah, you're commissioner.
What was Beckham making when he came over? I mean, it was something ludicrous. Yeah. He was making more than entire teams' payrolls.
Right, for his age. Yeah.
And all those guys are going to come over when they're geezers. You bet. That's one last huge payday and a victory lap, and then you get the American lifestyle that comes along with it.
Right.
But I don't know if Major League Soccer can ever be higher in the world's pecking order than it is, because in all honesty, those die have really already been cast.
So much ground to make up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, we can't have more American players. We are going to have more good American players. It's inevitable. Yes, the same way, you start watching the World Cup and the success the women had in the 90s, and men haven't really had any success ever, but the women continue to have and have been great. You're going to continue to grow there, and maybe the women's game has a better chance to flourish here. But yeah, the men's game.
Honestly, I think women's soccer is a different story.
Yeah.
Other than women's sports in our culture usually has a little further to go.
Right.
But if you're talking about the potential to be the best league in the world, oh yeah, 1,000%. I think they could do that for sure with the right moves and resources. But it's just like to get back to the basketball, example. Real Madrid owns a soccer club and a basketball team, and Real Madrid, the basketball team, will never be Real Madrid, the soccer club.
Correct.
Just like the LA Galaxy will never be the LA Lakers. It's just
it's too much ground to make up, and it's not where we put our priorities.
But you know what? It is funny about the Olympics is that all of a sudden we really do start caring about sports that we do not care about at all in the slightest, to you locking down to figure skating yesterday.
I woke up this morning and watched curling. I woke up this morning and did it.
But the platform is compelling.
It's really hard to do. I think a lot of people bet on that falsely. They're like, if we just put the platform out there, people will care, and it's so regularly not the
wouldn't
case.
See what you're talking about is live golf. The argument was always about the golfer or the platform. What's more important? What's worth more, the PGA Tour or Phil Mickelson?
Yeah.
And the answer is the platform.
The platform, yeah.
And that's why, honestly, the Olympics can be as corrupt as they want, and everybody still loves it because the platform is.
We grant some value to it, probably artificially. To your point of, you have countries with billion-dollar investments in their athletes and a pool of 300 million people going up against a country that's 4 million people in it and zero financial resources.
Yeah, the Jamaican bobsled
and
team.
we're like, even Steven,
yeah,
this is the platform.
right. But we put so much weight, like when it comes to your sport, figure skating, the worlds, or whatever they call them, are a way bigger indicator on who's actually the best figure skater on the planet.
And they're going on all the time.
And they go on like every year.
Yeah, right. If not every other year at worst. But yeah, they are constantly going.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
But you throw those rings on there, and I would bet as far as televised events go on the year, the long, whatever they call a long program. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah, 4-minute program.
It's probably a top 20 event on TV for the year. You know? Well, maybe not with all those football games that seem to dominate the top of it. But you get my point.
Your point is, yeah, correct.
Like, all of a sudden, America is glued to this sport they actually don't care about in the slightest. But once every 4 years, you can go, I can buy in for the pageantry and the gold and all this stuff. And, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. But I'm also not signing up to watch any cross-country skiing ever. But I watched it the other day.
Yeah, I couldn't care any less about swimming 365 days a year, 3 years a week. Or three years out of 3. But for 1 week out of every 4 years, swimming is the only thing I care about. American men's swimming, women's men's swimming, Katie Ledecky, Michael Phelps, whoever, become celebrities, yeah. But it's only because of the platform titled the Olympics. Because they're still swimming. They're in college. A lot of these people compete at the college level, or yes, whatever their worlds are. Nobody cares. So.
No, and they don't make a dang dime. Which is, I've talked to ski parents, like ski racing parents, and all the things you have to do. Talk to David about it to get your kids competing at the highest level in that particular sport. Like, even if you are the best, you're not going to make a dang dime. You're going to make, maybe if you're really, truly dominant, like Michael Phelps or whatever, you're going to make a bunch of money every 4 years and then be living off that for the rest of your life. And that's the top 1 of 1%. I know a gold medal winner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're in Utah, you know somebody who's competing in the Olympics.
And she's living a lovely life, I'm sure. But she is far from a, wealthy person, at least last I checked. It's been a minute. Yeah, are you connected in any way to a medal winner, Christian? Growing up here?
I'm not, no.
Really?
I'm a little young.
Okay.
In my Spanish class in college, we had to do this thing. It was like, introduce yourself. I think it was 2 truths and a lie, just to like kind of get everyone comfortable because so much of it is just interactive, speaking Spanish to one another. And one kid stood up and was like, yeah, I'm a skater. I thought, okay, I was a skateboarder. I'm going to go see what this kid's all about. Same. I was like, oh, you said you were a skater. What kind? He's like, it's like speed skating. It's like, oh, cool. What level? He's like, I won a silver medal. I was on the relay team. It was like,
wait,
what? We're in Spanish together? Huh? No, you're in Spanish class with me? Shout out Alex. It's still my guy. Yeah, Alex was cool.
I don't remember. It's one of is it ski jumping? It's one of the ski events where every single person on the Olympic team goes to the University of Utah.
Aerials.
Is
it
aerials?
Women's aerials. Yeah.
Go. And U.S. ski team now has been here for a long, long time, pre-02. So, yeah, the fact that we have Olympians walking amongst us is not a surprise. Is U.S. skating still at the Kearns Oval? Is this still?
Not sure if that's the headquarters, but it's still an Olympic
might be.
rink. Yeah. He won bronze. Alex Izikowski. Shout out Alex. Not silver. Hey, I just want to get it right. Respect Alex. Former Spanish partner. Mi amigo.
Or whatever. You can get a bronze medal at Savers.
Bring it in one day, Alex.
Getting back to congratulating Utah for winning a game on the road. Congratulations on winning a bronze.
It was hard last night. I watched, I got home from work yesterday and was doing some writing, and I watched the women's gold medal game. And it was just an incredible game, and shout out to the U.S. for coming back and winning. But the bronze medal team was absolutely thrilled, right? Because they had won. Switzerland had to win the bronze medal game. So their last game, they had to fight for something. Winning the silver medal, being so frustrated to have that thing put around your neck. And then after they put the silver medal around your neck, they went down the line and handed them all the commemorative stuffed animals. After, you didn't do it in one motion. You got the silver medal, and then they went back to the start of the line and gave them the stuffed animal one by one. I guarantee you there were dumpsters full of those stuffed animals from Team Canada after the game because they didn't want anything to do with their silver medal. much less the silly little stuffed animal, which I'm sure is the coolest thing if you win a gold, but as a consolation prize with also your silver medal, it's got to be brutal.
I had this conundrum in my mind last night, Ben. My daughter asked me what the kids were doing on the ice for figure skating. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
And I said, honey, well, they go around and they collect all the flowers because people throw flowers onto the ice as a show of appreciation or whatever. If you absolutely had the dumpiest routine of your career, like you fell on the triple Lutz, you absolutely cost yourself a medal or whatever, you just totally booted it. Would you want their pity flowers? Because people are throwing flowers regardless, right? Like, would you tell those kids, like, hey, kids, love you.
I didn't earn
but
these.
Turn around. I don't want any of your pity flowers. You go throw those back.
I don't need it. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
There should be some judgment involved. There should be some nuance in the conversation.
I didn't deserve flowers. I crashed on the triple toe.
And they know that.
And they know that.
Yeah.
They're just, I feel so bad for him. I'm going to throw flowers.
Dad's still going to hug you.
Yeah.
Mom's still going to hug you. Your siblings are still going to love you.
Your coach is going to yell at you probably.
But
if it's Bella Caroli.
But save the flowers. I didn't do well.
Yeah, I don't want any of those flowers. Sorry, kids.
I think that's fair.
Okay. I was thinking about that.
In fact, they should only do it after we get the scores.
That's when the flowers come down?
Yeah.
After the scores?
After the scores come, and if you're in the top 3, you're on the podium, even just momentarily, if you're going to get bumped off, that's fine. But you're on the podium, you get your flowers then.
Okay. I was just thinking about that because she asked me about that tradition. I said, well, it's people showing their appreciation, but what if you sucked out there?
Canada downs Team Finland 3-2. 3 straight goals.
That's too bad.
Including one at 30 seconds left.
By the way, isn't Sidney Crosby hurt?
He did not play today. Nathan McKinnon had the game winner.
I think the general manager for the Penguins should be financially compensated by Canada.
Okay.
I'm serious. Can you imagine the bad day he's having?
Yeah, I don't.
Like the Penguins.
I don't know the hierarchy if he's still the best player on the team or if he has adopted a.
Either way, he's important, and the Pens are like sneaky decent, right?
Is Kenny Malkin still playing? Is he still alive? Is he on the Penguins? Am I right on that? Yeah, I don't know if he's moved into the LeBron role where he's no longer the best player on the team, but is the figurehead. Yeah, absolutely. You lose your player in the Olympics. That's everybody's fear, and it's the biggest celebrity.
5th in the East right now with 70 points. That guy's having a bad day.
Yeah.
I would be so bent if one of my players came back from the Olympics hurt.
Sidney Crosby is still leading them at points at 59 points. 15 more than Evgeny Malkin, who still does play for the team.
Yeah, so that stinks for the Penguins.
Yeah, it'd be brutal.
The owner of the Penguins doesn't care about we're talking about platform and what's bigger, platform and all this. They don't care about the platform. They don't care about the Olympics.
Right. He's got a gold. I saw him win a gold. I don't need him to win another gold. I want him to play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. On his maybe retirement tour.
I still feel bad for Dante Exum, who got injured playing overseas. In not even it was not even the Olympics. It was like not even the World Cup. It was like a friendly or something like that. I would be so bent.
Yeah.
I just totally altered my career for nothing.
Jumped into the middle of the lane. Blew out his knee.
Aussie.
Oi,
oi, oi.
Yeah, never came back.
Screw that. Cost him millions.
Yes, it did. Cost the Jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't blame. I don't blame owners when they voice their opinion that they're not for international play. I wonder how Major League Soccer feels about it. They've got to be super conflicted because the World Cup is such a bigger platform.
As are the Olympics, in all honesty. I mean, the Olympic hockey is a bigger deal for the NHL players, I think, than the NHL itself. For a lot of these guys.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
But it's like to the point, if you played the Super Bowl in week 9, it was like, this is the biggest game we're going to play all year. They're like, no, you get the second half of the season. When you get back, everyone would be beat up. Because, you're going to put it all out there.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. The Jazz actually play tonight. How about that? The NBA back in.
Somebody with wearing a Jazz uniform is playing tonight.
Somebody will. And we have word into the Jazz. We want the latest with Nurk's nose. We want to know up to the second info. I need it for the pregame.
Big nose.
We're going to do the Nurk Beak Report.
Big news. Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. More next, 97.5.
The Bosnian Beak.
The KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, These guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
This message is for Jake and Ben. You guys, I think here's an outrageous way to mess with the draft. And what I'm saying is take all the cats out of the wall and then put my 2 cats in there and see what happens. Because my cats say that you give the bottom last place team 10th pick all the way up to number 10. They get 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And the 10th pick, the 10th team gets the first pick. So 9, 10, and 11, those 3 teams will be playing games to get that 10th pick, right? Or 9th pick or whatever. Yeah. And what'll happen is it will be so obvious that they're justling around, the NBA will be able to find teams that are screwing with it. But the bottom 5 teams are going to be playing their butts off to move up the scale. Then the top teams are going to play their butts off to keep the wins.
All right, that's from our guy Dazed C. I think I'm picking up what he's putting down.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, this is an idea that's been toyed with. And you know, can you reward teams that are actually trying and miss the playoffs by giving them the type of piece that they need? It encourages a lot of teams to miss the playoffs still, right? Be really good and just barely miss the playoffs. Because if you're the 8th seed, or again, to your point, if you're the 4th best team in your conference, how often does the 4th seed actually win the championship? Very rarely. You're better off than falling to the 10th spot and being like, well, we were actually, who's the 4th in the West right now? It's like, let's say it's the Houston Rockets. Rockets are way better off falling to 10.
Out of the playoffs.
Ruining the playoffs in a sense, because then you're missing out on 2 good playoff series, 4-5 generally pretty good, and then 4-1 potentially good. Because you want to go out there and add the number 1 overall pick. Again, it's just like everything on face value, fine, and then the next step, you pull the rug out from the functionality of it all.
Yeah, because the idea of a draft is actually a bad concept.
Anything that rewards aiming for a specific spot in the standings is going to force teams to lose games. Full stop. End of story.
Well, the ability to force a player to play for your franchise, if you want to look at it that way, is a little broken. If you want to be in the league, we're going to force you to play somewhere, and we're going to decide where that is.
I have less of a problem with that. I know people say, like, that's the problem. It's like if you work for a business and they say you have to go on a business trip, you go on the business trip, or you get fired. I have less of a problem with it.
I'm not even. I'm saying like you don't have to make yourself mutually attractive to a player. You can just force them to come.
Yeah.
That's more what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from the right to work standpoint, but from the standpoint of, you know, if it were a normal situation, we'd have to make our facilities great and it'd be a winning team, and we'd have to make ourselves attractive to you for a fit and all this stuff. You don't have to do any of that. In fact, it's the opposite. You want to make yourself just bare bones crappy, because that's how you force a player to play for you. You force a good player to come play for you by being as crappy as possible. Like, that is broken.
It's pretty anti-labor. Not what you're saying. The NBA entirely is pretty anti-labor. Other than these guys make so much money, it's insane. You know, and that way, all that argument of it being anti-labor or whatever gets thrown out the window. You know, the real way to fix it, again, is the only thing that actually matters to anybody, which is money. So one of the problems, again, is that everybody is making money hand over fist. Everybody's printing money if you're in the NBA. Not as much as the NFL, but nobody's going broke owning an NBA team right now, right? Ryan Smith bought a team for whatever, $2 billion valuation. It's already worth $4 billion, you know? So everyone's making money. So in that sense, like, competing for a championship is kind of an ancillary part of it. It's fun. Yeah, tank. Great. We're going to make money regardless. Like, the Pelicans are atrocious this year. They don't even have their pick. They're not losing money this season. Kings aren't losing any money this season. So it doesn't matter to them if they're actually terrible, because they can say, well, we can lose in the name of trying to win a championship, and great. That's going to be good for us in the long term if we win a title. But it's not we have to win a title to make money. That's not the value for anybody. It's just kind of the fun part of it if you're an owner.
Well, what you're talking about is the Donald Sterling approach, which for years He just met the league minimum from a
Right.
salary standpoint. He didn't care about attendance, didn't care about any of that because his margins would be great because he'd get TV money and all that
Right.
from the league, and it would be fine. As long as I'm making $10 million a year, what do I care, right? And I think that's actually more common in the NBA than you would guess. But the structure now of the NBA with the hard caps and all that stuff kind of lets that owner off the hook. I mean, again, we think for small markets, things like salary caps and all that are a good thing. And I'd listen to an argument that they are, but I could also make an argument that it's a bad thing. How do you come get somebody to play in Utah? Well, you can pay them more than anybody else.
Right.
Yep. And you can give them, and I think there is more than money, and this is where good agents, I think, come into play, is you're not going to make any of that ancillary money if you're not playing. So actually a role on the team is as valuable as money if you are talking to a player that knows the score. You know what I mean? Like Keontae George scoring 20 whatever points a game he's scoring this year, he doesn't have that role on the Lakers.
Right.
He doesn't have that role on
In New
the
York.
Thunder.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that role in New York. What would Keontae George's points per game be this year if he played for the Knicks?
Yeah. 14.
Oh,
12.
I'd go less.
Yeah, he's your sixth man. Seventh man, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
He's scoring 8, 9 points. Well, how many shoe companies are going to be banging down his door
Right.
if he has that role on even a big market New York team? If I'm selling, I don't know, what do you want to say? Well, let's just go Cooper Flagg. If I'm selling Cooper Flagg, I'm saying, dude, you're going to come here. You're going to have the ball the whole game. We're going to make you the highest paid player on the team right away. And you're going to be the centerpiece of the franchise and all this and that. You can do that, or you can go to L.A. and take Luka's leavings. How many shoe companies are going to be loving you when you're scoring 14 points a game?
It goes back to it's your argument about daylight savings. If you've listened to the show long enough, you've heard it. It goes back to the example I always bring up is the Knicks tried to play a game one time without any music in the arena. Like, let's do a throwback. It's like the reason we got to the place we are today was on purpose.
There was a reason.
And then we get to the finish line and we're like, oh, this is flawed where we are. This finish line is flawed. Let's throw the whole thing out. It's like, no, the reason why the draft actually does exist is because the money you make in Utah is not equal to them. If all the money is the same, which is your point about the salary cap being bad for small markets, which is if I can only make $40 million in Oklahoma City, why not make $40 million in New York or $40 million in Miami or $40 million in LA? Those are more fun cities for my lifestyle. Why would I want to do that in OKC or Salt Lake City or Portland when I could do it in Dallas or Atlanta or wherever I think is
wherever
more
I want
preferable?
or LeBron in Cleveland because he's from there.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Whatever
wherever
the
I want to
reason.
be, whatever serves me personally. Why would I go to Utah and make that same amount of money when I can make the same at a better place? So that is why we got to a point where the league said, no, you have to have a draft, and you have to have a draft that assigns players that they have to play in these spots. So not everyone can just avoid living in Utah or avoid living in Oklahoma City or avoid living in Milwaukee. And as a result, over the last couple of years, Oklahoma City has a championship and Milwaukee has a championship. That they actually are beneficial. Now, those teams didn't exclusively build it through the draft, but Milwaukee has a title because they drafted Giannis, but they didn't get him in the lottery. Oklahoma City has a championship in part because they drafted Chet and they drafted Jalen Williams, not exclusively because they also had to trade for Shea. It's like there's not a one solution that will fix. There's not one fix that will finish all these issues that the NBA has. But we did get here on purpose. Mm-hmm. This is not random that we have a draft right now with this design. And yes, it's obviously laden with issues, very clearly. Everyone can see it. It doesn't take a genius. And we knew these issues would arise as soon as the lottery came up, that you're going to encourage teams to lose games to get a higher draft pick. But it's just the short-sighted nature that we always have. It's like, oh, well, I didn't like it today, so I want to get rid of the entire system. It's like, well, we got here because the last system was actually worse.
Yeah, I agree. To the point, though, on salary cap real quick, I would never, and I've been doing this a long time and following these, sports in this market for a long time, I would never have predicted that BYU would become a college basketball power. They weren't in the right league. They couldn't attract the right players. Talk to Tim Lacombe about the difficulty of recruiting to Provo and to BYU. Right. But what happens? you take off the salary cap, so to speak. In college is a little bit different. And now every bozo on Silicon Slopes can buy a basketball player for BYU. And they do the impossible. And BYU, and I'm not saying they've arrived as a basketball power, but for the intents and purposes of this convo, I think you see what I'm saying. Like, in a weird way, our tech industry is an advantage, or should be an advantage. There's a lot of growing potential economic stuff going on here and has been going on for a while now. And you know what? This is Salt Lake City is kind of a random pocket of dough all of a sudden. So if Ryan Smith could spend whatever he wanted on any young player, I mean, wouldn't that be an easier way to get a superstar than? Somewhat
ironically is, I think you would end up weeding out the Ryan Smiths of the world, which is, it would have to go to the super, super billionaires. And Ryan's a billionaire. I'm not worried about Ryan's money, but it would go to truly the top 30 highest paid people on the planet would buy the NBA team and be like, well, I can put as much money into it, and I'm just going to flaunt how much money I have. That's what it's about now, is just flaunting what I have. It's not actually about any reasonable payment, which, you can argue if paying an NBA player $40 million is reasonable. I'm not trying to get into that conversation. But yeah, it would be, you hear about people in Abu Dhabi. Do you know what the license plate thing is in Abu Dhabi? So you can buy license plates with a single digit. And people will buy a license plate for their $2 million Bugatti that has the number 2 on it or 1 on it because it was the first one printed, and they will spend an extra $8 million on a license plate just to show off how luxurious, how much money they have. That's what the league would turn into. It's just look, I did sign the player for $180 million a season just to show you that I have the ability to do it because I'm the richest man from whatever country anywhere in the world, and you would get rid of local ownership almost entirely. It would just be a parade of wealth, and it would greatly benefit the players. It would alienate probably everybody, but I think that might happen if you get rid of the salary cap.
Except for salary isn't the whole story.
It's not.
And it hasn't been in baseball. Now baseball is a different sport, and the Dodgers are certainly attempting to prove me wrong. But historically, that hasn't necessarily been the case. The Yankees don't win every year.
No, they don't.
And again, baseball is a different sport with a different structure, and one player cannot get you over the hump like it can in basketball. So I get what you're saying, but I don't know. Salary cap's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
And it's the players would have to go on strike forever to get that. So that's not going to happen. But it does create some disadvantages for Utah because players can decide where to play based on other things other than money.
Yep. And the best way to do it.
And now they can force trades in the NBA and all this stuff where they can get their way regardless without even becoming a free agent.
So the best way to do it is before they have that power, when they're coming to the league, assign them to a team.
The best way to do it is find a sponsor that is in the environmental protection space and fund them directly for the purpose of them paying additional monies to your player.
Under the table. In clandestine fashion.
Without
actually requiring them to do any work.
Got to be a little smarter about it than others, but that's the way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
That's it. How do the Jazz land the next great thing?
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard? Well, that's it.
Tree planting.
It's all about carbon credits. Figure that out. Very lucrative. Or maybe not so much.
Might end up costing you in the long run.
No, I definitely think if we want to get to things that the NBA and Adam Silver do and do not want to do anything about, they do not want to touch that unless they have to.
Yeah.
Every time that Torre guy makes a podcast, they get upset because it comes back into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, he's going to be banned from every professional sport because his ability to investigate everything. But, yeah, neither here nor there. I don't know what type of problems you're going to do, or I don't know what solutions you're going to come up with that fix tanking versus just change tanking. And I think that's all we're talking about, which is the ultimate cat in the wall.
Yep.
It's not fixing it. It's just changing the conversation. And for right now, that's probably the 3-card Monty that Adam Silver is willing to play. It's just, I'm going to move the cards around and you're going to think it's a different game, but it's the same thing over and over. And it's not, I hesitate to say the word rigged because I don't believe the lottery necessarily is rigged, but the idea that nothing's actually being fixed, but you think it's different. You think something actually gives you a chance to do something that,
or you think they're trying, which is
or you
all
think they're trying, which is what he cares about.
Which is what he cares about. He cares that you think he cares. He doesn't actually care,
right? And really, and he has said this. He wants the teams to pretend they're trying. knowing that they're not trying, but he wants to put the lipstick on the pig of tanking, which is like, can you at least make it look like it? Meaning,
The answer is no.
can you at least, don't even put him on the injury report, but just don't make use of Nurkic play, but just don't put him on the injury report, please. I just don't want him to play. It's fine if he doesn't play. I just don't want him on the injury report because everyone's going to see that. It's in ink if it's on the internet. I just don't want to see that. That's quite literally a conversation that's been had.
All right, stay tuned. Wrapping up the show. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and also loves his tie guy. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Hey, this is for Jake and Ben. My name is Coleman, and I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. My girlfriend, who never really listens to sports, I turn on you guys, and she's like, "Hey, are these the two radio bozos that you listen to?" I actually kind of like them, so just wanted to give you guys a little shout out there. I love what you guys do.
What a compliment. Thank you, Coleman, and to your lovely, did you say girlfriend?
His girlfriend. Put a ring on it, dog.
Put a ring on that. Lock that down,
You
Coleman.
got the right girl.
Yeah. Obviously, she has fantastic taste in radio bozos.
I love the call-in feature, not just for the
call-in
compliments.
feature is so amazing.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that, Coleman. And if you're listening, whether it's live over the air, whether it's streaming, whether it's on the YouTube, whether it's our friends in the future via podcast, send in a call-in. Say it's for Jake and Ben.
Shout out to Coleman and Colewoman.
I see.
The two of them.
I see what you did there. What am I supposed to be reading, Christian? Oh, I'd be happy to. I want to remind you of our friends at University of Utah Health. Hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org.
Mick Cronin has apologized. I know you got more to do. Mick Cronin has apologized for ejecting his own player in the other game, in a game a couple nights ago.
You know what's funny? That's like the one thing I actually liked that he did.
It was stupid because the kid didn't do anything wrong. He committed a hard foul on a fast break, but he didn't undercut anybody. He swung at the ball. And then the guy got in his face and he said, what? I can't foul you? It's part of the game. This is Mick Cronin trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah, maybe, but like in-game discipline for something,
Sure.
like I honestly don't have any particular problem with that. Everybody said, "Oh, I've never seen this before in my life." You've never seen a player that gets benched? It's the same thing.
It is, but ejecting a player specifically singles him out.
So it would have been better if you just sat him down?
Yes, 100%.
Why?
Because A, the kid didn't do anything wrong, so you acted with a
In
very harsh
your
judgment.
judgment.
Even in his judgment, he says he apologized to the kid because he realized he made a mistake. You eject a kid for doing nothing wrong. You put all this blame on his shoulders. You make him a target. And it's a kid. It's a college student. This is a student that you threw out of a game because you're a clown, which, again, we're going to end the show with me yelling about Mick Cronin being a loser. But Mick Cronin's a loser, and got mad at this kid with obviously extraordinarily poor judgment. And not the kid had poor judgment. Mick Cronin had poor judgment. So good for him for walking it back and realizing he made a mistake. But yes, Mick, this is your problem. You shoot from the hip, and you're regularly wrong, and that's the problem when you shoot from the hip. That's the issue with taking an extreme measure like ejecting a player. That's the problem.
We do want to remind you about the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals to honor people that impact youth sports volunteers or youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week.
Mick also said, sometimes I'm too candid. I'm lucky to coach here. This brand matters. The last thing I want to do is bring negative publicity. Sorry, Mick. Too late. You do that every time you talk in the microphone.
We've got another call-in on taking. You want to hit that, Christian? Go ahead.
This is Mike sending in his suggestion.
Hey, Jake and Ben, it's Mike. I have an idea to help with the tanking. If a team falls in the lottery to a top 3 pick, and they pick in the top 3, the next year, if they fall again into the top 3, they automatically forfeit that pick. No matter what kind of trades they made, if they had a protected pick, that pick is just gone. They cannot have a top 3 pick 2 years in a row.
Now, what I like about that is the punitive nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, less carrot, more stick. I kind of like that conceptually, but would that fix it?
No, because for the right guy, it's worth it. For Victor Wembanyama, it's still worth it. And they know who's coming. You know, everyone knows the reason the Jazz traded next year's unprotected first-round picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. is because nobody cares about that pick. You know, it's not of the caliber of this year's pick, so the Jazz are going to go all out to finish this season holding on to their pick, and they don't care what happens next year. So, no, year to year, it probably doesn't actually hurt you that much. I am a little curious about the year-over-year tanking and how significant of an issue that actually is and how much that's actually a condemnation on what the problem of the product is. Which, again, is like it's just really difficult to get out of the basement in the NBA.
I think, like, any team from New York or L.A. should be punished to pick every other year.
Okay.
You know, give them a pick every other year, but other than that, they should just lose it automatically.
Just for fun.
Well, it evens the playing field
Okay.
because market size and shoe companies are too important.
Does matter.
Yeah. And actually, their salary cap or whatever, we could even call it the second apron, is $30 million lower than everybody else.
Okay. I have heard, there are concepts of if you win the lottery, you get, or basically if you're one of the worst teams, you get more cap money to spend. Your salary cap actually goes up. So you have more allocation. The White Sox won the lottery in Major League Baseball, so they're going to get the number 1 overall pick. And then they get more money to go out and sign their second first-round draft pick or their next draft pick, whatever it is. They have more money in the pool to sign rookies. So that helps them actually dig out quicker. Now, you can't compare baseball to basketball because guys who get drafted in the 7th round in baseball regularly become all-stars. And that never happens in the NBA.
How about buying picks?
Okay.
Like you just have to pony up dough.
bid
You have
up
to
a-
be
you have to bid on a
the
pick.
highest bidder to get a pick, and that money just goes into the wind.
And that does prevent teams from buying specific players. I know it sounds similar, or basically it prevents free agency. Because if you do free agency right out of college, yes, the superstar player is never going to choose Salt Lake City. They're going to choose Miami or whatever. They're not going to choose Utah, even if Utah has the most money. But if the team wants to spend the most money on the draft pick and then that player has to go wherever, that's actually kind of interesting.
You bid on those picks.
You bid on the pick.
And then you could say, spread that money out to every other team, not you, so they get a financial windfall from it or
everyone gets
whatever.
money. Everyone gets some money.
Everyone gets a
And if you
little
don't want
dough.
the pick, you get a little money back.
And if you wanted to really even it out, you could say that money, whatever, counts against some sort of cap.
Yeah, that money gets immediately taken out of your salary cap.
Yeah.
So if you spend $30 million on a draft pick,
that money comes out of your cap
that year
and goes to everybody else.
That's kind of interesting. Because, you would spend $100 million on Victor Wembanyama. Honestly,
Absolutely.
you would. But you would be without a roster that year. You would give up so much money. You're basically, all of your earnings. You start at not only minus $100 million that you spent to get him, but you don't get any of the revenue share from the NBA.
You have to pay his salary on top of it.
That's fun.
I kind of like
it's
it.
fun. It, again, is going to reward ultra-rich owners who don't care.
But maybe you buy the third pick instead of the first pick.
No,
and
right.
you say,
No, there is some real strategy to it of saying, are you better off getting the 5th pick for $25 million than the first pick for $100?
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's Zachary Rizachet, well, then that pick will be much cheaper.
Right. And if that money has to come out of your salary cap or goes on top of your luxury tax, like your repeater tax, then you're spending you have a $600 million roster if you're not careful, meaning with the repeater tax. Like Cleveland this year before the trade deadline was looking at something like $180 million luxury tax bill. It was crazy, and they ended up getting it down to 60 with all the trades that they made, including the Jazz with Lonzo Ball.
But even the richest owners don't like funding their competition.
Don't like funding their competition. Funding the competition ideally helps them with existing free agents, which actually makes you better. Like, that money shouldn't just go into the owner's pocket. That money should have to go into the players on the floor. If you spend $100 million on getting the number 1 overall pick, that gets distributed on the court.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. You'd find a way to make it cost something to get that pick.
And you don't have to buy a pick.
And you don't have to buy a pick if you don't want.
If
it would get rid of trading picks, obviously, or you could buy it and trade it, I guess.
If teams want to buy multiple picks, so be it. Great. You're investing in all your young group of people. The only other players you can sign once you hit the salary cap is vet minimum players on top of that. So you have Victor Wembanyama, and maybe you get, whoever else was in that draft at number 10, Taylor Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
But you're at that point, you've spent $140 million just for the right to draft them. You can only sign veteran minimum players. Like, you're not going to be good. That's the battle you're paying. I'm sorry, you're just not going to be good. But you can't get you're probably not going to have any money to spend next year on picks.
You could smooth it out over years or whatever and come up with the rules to make it work. But yeah,
that's kind of interesting. That's one of the more interesting ones I've heard.
See, we're accomplishing something. All right, stay tuned.
Well, I like it. It's you're going to like it more than my solution to tanking, which I debuted last week while you were gone. 2 lotteries. The ultimate cat in the wall.
2 lotteries.
2 lotteries.
Wow.
You know what the solution is? More lotteries.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. I almost said Hans and Scotty.
You didn't almost say it. You did say it.
I did say it. Scotty G and friends coming up next at Kenny J's in the District, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.